Yo, ni aje, hapa ni nworksinc Radio Podcast. Episode 16, bro, ni aje. Hapa niko na mgeni anaitwa
Joseph Kalume.
Leo ende nimeinvite leo. Tunataka kuongea topic nyingine bado exciting as always. Tunataka kuongea story ya culture. Bro, culture na tradition,
Yes.
Unaweza jua difference ya culture na tradition?
I can put it this way. Culture is a bit old. The tradition was many traditions observed for many years become a culture.
Yeah.
That it's an old thing. Okay. It becomes the lifeline.
The lifeline.
Our group of people. Tradition is we can start behaving this way today. Then tomorrow. Then next week. Then after many years, they become our culture.
Our culture. Oh, nice. I'll read from what I read. Culture refers to the shared beliefs, values, customs, behavior, and artifacts that characterize a group or society. Exactly what you said. Tradition refers to the transmission of cultural practices or beliefs from one generation to the next.
It's a bit smaller because it's practices.
Ni practices niku jaribu hapo 1 2. There is something I read. Do you know like how many cultures are there? The main culture
in Kenya, it's like
in the world.
In the world, what can I say? In the world, cultures are mostly blended with religion.
What?
So, like most of the Asian countries, Middle East, they're mostly Arabic cultures, which is also blended with Islam.
Yeah.
You see in Asia, it's mostly the Mandarin culture, which is blended with the religion. India is the Hinduism, which is also their religion.
Their religion as well.
In Western, it's secular.
It's
Western is
every root.
Western doesn't have. I think Western people, the original Western people, are very few.
So they're creating their own tradition.
Which is more modern.
More modern.
Like there's no difference between clothes of male and female.
Yeah.
And which is different in Asia, whereby there's female cloth and male cloth.
Yeah.
Yes. So in Western, it's secular. Everything is
secular.
Yes.
So after reading about it, there are 5 main cultures, which actually you got it quite right, because there's Asian culture, there's the African culture, the European culture, Middle Eastern culture, and Latin American culture. So it's exactly just what you said. It's only that this one is from the book, this other one is gathered from an observation,
yes,
and as well. So then, as I was reading as well, there are levels of culture. So, which I know you understand basically, or we all understand basically with how we've lived our lives. So we know these things. So it's like the first level is artifacts. What you see. Mm-hmm. The second one is level 2 is beliefs and values. What is said. Mm-hmm. Then number 3 is underlying assumption, what you believe. Mm-hmm. So basically, exactly what you said is cultural practices. Some of them are intertwined with their religion. Then culture is intertwined with the religion. Uh-huh. So the religion sometimes becomes so big that the cultural practices are the same as the religious practices.
Yes, you see, everything has a founder.
Yeah.
And the founders were the ancestors.
Yeah.
The ancestors were the initiators of all these things. Mm-hmm. And like myself, if I move to Kisumu,
yeah,
it becomes difficult for me to practice their culture.
True.
Because, everybody is owned by a certain group of people.
True.
There's that sense of belonging.
Yeah.
And when you belong to a certain group of people, then you have to behave like your people.
Like your people, yeah.
Which is, if I behave like my people, then I have to instill the same thing to my kids.
True.
So there are so many Kikus in Eldoret,
yeah,
but they identify themselves like Kuyus.
Yeah.
You don't identify yourself with that group of people, which you don't blend.
Exactly.
Yeah. I cannot wear Masai clothes because I live in Narok. Because I live in Narok.
That's true.
Yeah.
And maybe you don't even like the color of the shuka or something of the like.
Yeah. So it's true that if the ancestors had some religion, mm-hmm, aspect of their culture, it's very easy for you to have this.
Okay.
Especially, you see naming.
Mm-hmm.
naming in Kenya is derived from the owners of the name.
Yes.
If my grandfather was Muhammad or Abu Bakr, then that name has to be go down.
Your son most probably will be named.
Yes. And then how can I be Abu Bakr and then I'll become different in terms of culture? I have to be like Abu Bakr, the way it's supposed to be.
That is so true. That is so true.
Yeah.
So, with what I've heard from you, what is your favorite culture? So,
My favorite culture is a culture which is disciplined, which has recognizes a female and recognizes a male, and a female recognizes a male. This is a man, and everybody has a role in that culture, which is disciplined and which is respected.
Okay.
Yes, for me, I can say my favorite culture is a culture that's blended with Islam.
With Islam, okay.
Yes, there's a lot of discipline in Islam. More discipline.
Because like they pray every day,
5 times a day, and they really believe in 5 times a day.
and then I will also add to that. The thing about Islam is if you're from the Middle East or you're from whichever country and you come to Kenya, the mosque is still the same. You do welcome to the mosque, but if you're like a Latin Catholic and you come to an ACK church, probably it won't go as well or as normal as it usually is.
Yes, that's very true. In Christianity, when you move from a place and you don't find that church, you have a very big problem. We are on identity. But for a Muslim, and he comes, he find a mosque, he blends himself with that, and he is very respected.
Yes.
He's given a chance to express himself.
Yeah.
And there's this kind of something which is done in Islam, the brotherhoodness is so strong as opposed to brotherhoodness to Christianity. Because you can see, if I am a Muslim and I'm poor, I'll just come across your home. You're supposed to feed me. And when the time I give me a place to sleep, and the time I leave, you're supposed to even to give me fare and tell you I want to go to Nakuru and I cannot drink.
No,
you will arrange for that one.
Yeah.
I don't know if a Christian can bring that woman.
It's quite difficult.
Sure, very difficult. So there's that kind of brotherhoodness, and you see, for them, as long as you're a Muslim, you're okay.
Yeah.
And then you can see even their loans.
Yeah.
I can give you 20,000, and you agree with me. You pay me in 10 days without interest.
The same
Without interest, the same amount. Yes.
And also, I'll also add into that, like even the upbringing of the children.
Sure.
They started the madrasa, so the culture is deep-rooted. From when you are born, as you grow up, you adapt to the cultural practices of the Islam.
Sure.
And that makes it even stronger for the bond, as you're saying, for the family bond or the community social bond. It becomes even easier because these guys have been in madrasa together from 2 years old, from 3 years old. They've been going to the mosque together. They've grown up together. They live together, because also that's another thing. Muslims like to Islam obviously mostly like to live together in one society. And even like if you go to a mosque, most of the time you find that people have made their houses just near there. Because I think it is very rich. It's a very rich culture.
Sure, and I can add to that. People, especially in Kenya, they don't understand what madrasa means. They think when a kid goes to madrasa, he does not attend elementary school. I have some schoolmates of mine who are pilots. How to become a pilot if you never go to third one? So it means they are going to madrasa at the same time going to Sarad 1. So it's not like this guy has been in madrasa and doesn't know Sarad 2, 1 plus 1. They do the same thing like us. Because I've seen medical officers. There are so many doctors, there are so many pharmacists, there are so many nurses who are Muslims. And they went to madrasa. So does it mean they didn't go to school?
Of course.
So this kind of belief that madrasa is a waste of time, the kid is going to get old without attending Sarad 1. It's a wrong perception. Completely wrong. Yes. So you see, the mistake came during the introduction of this religion. You know, the Muslim came to Kenya to introduce Islam. They recognized the culture of the people. They did not brainwash them.
Yes, true.
So they remained with their religion, their culture. That's why you see the Somali culture and the Islam is almost the same.
The same, almost the same.
The dress code is almost the same with the buibuis and the kanzus. The same. The dress code for a woman and the dress code for a buibui is the same. It's long dress. So they were not told to change completely. The religion was accepted and the tradition continued. Now look at how the European brought Christianity. First they came and told you Mugumo is a bad tree. This one is nothing.
They don't really know what you are doing.
Yes, and they brainwashed everything. Your house is bullshit. You need to have an infrastructure like this. You see now,
You stop huts. These huts will be blown by the fox.
So first they removed your culture and blessed westernization as their culture, and then they brought Christianity to you. And then they brought education, which is in English, not in Kikuyu. And now all of us are brainwashed because you read even the novels, you read English. Well, you can't read Arabic. You can't read Chinese.
Kikuyu novels.
So you never know any story of a Russian or any story of a Chinese. The stories you read are European. Because you can't read their stories. Yes, very true. So that's what I can say. There was also brainwashing in Christianity. There was no brainwashing in Islam.
Even like the Kikuyu, for example, they already had their own code, their own beliefs.
Yes.
Their own beliefs, their own tradition, and their own culture.
Which was very old.
Very old,
yes.
And they used to live well, and they used to have very big, they used to acquire very big, massive lands and live together. They used to hunt, they used to do farming, they used even to trade. So, but when now the European culture came in, it started diminishing the African culture. So like people start forgetting where they are from and who they are. Basically, the Kikuyu culture is going down, and now people are starting to become modernized and not even actually even forget what their culture was. But there's something else I'll add to that, like the traditional brew. You saw that on TV. The Kikuyu went there to court and said this is their brew. And the court said, okay. Because at the end of the day, these are rituals, these are beliefs, these are things that have been done over and over and over again.
Like it's only that in a Rorasho, you see, Moratina is given, is there. If it is an illicit or illegal, why has it been used? However, I have never heard of any Kikuyu who have died of drinking Muratina.
No. Actually, most of them are very healthy.
And you see, it's kind of...
and it's a very respectable drink.
It's kind of traditions, especially in Kikuyu. Sorry to say this. The leaders themselves, they identify themselves as different from their own tradition. I've never seen a Kikuyu leader who is saying that we drink Muratina, so this one let us preserve. I've heard of Wazaa people defending it, and I've heard of Mnazi people that Garissa Maida, remember?
Yes.
You remember he even told Mr. Kibaki that this is what has educated us in selling this Mnazi, and what is criminality in that?
Exactly. It's only that some people take advantage, which is life. Some people take advantage and start bringing it and doing bad things about it and bring it in a bad environment. So it becomes very harmful to the society. However, those are the bad people are always there. You can never prevent, you cannot prevent bad people from doing bad things. You can only do good things. But if you reciprocate from their bad and become also bad, we become all bad. So at the end of the day, we all lose.
Sure.
So it's about don't criminalize culture because of westernization.
Sure. You see, for me, when culture recognizes a woman as a woman, and culture recognizes a man as a man, the religious books recognize a man as the head of the family. And it's very complicated when Our Lady goes to church. The pastor tells her that the head of the family is a man. And then they say amen, amen, amen. But when they go home, they change and become westernized that we are equal.
Yeah.
Now, in fact, they want equal. They started to be equal in 1980s and 1990s. From 2000, they are more equal. They are more powerful than even the men.
Exactly, that's true.
Sure, that's true. They are more powerful than even the men.
Yeah.
So that's why you find there's a lot of divorce. Divorce in the original time was not there.
Never ever.
In real culture, there was no like you can reject your wife.
It's for life.
It's for life. The old men will sit you people, they discuss.
In case there's an issue.
Yes, what is this? What's the problem? You explain yourself for like 1 hour. Then a lady explains herself like 1 hour. Then there's an argument. Then you continue your life. There was no divorce. Now look at divorce. Somebody files a divorce in court.
Yeah.
And because the court is a Western thing, it says, yes, now you split your wealth. You are
50-50.
You're splitting your ancestral wealth to a lady who does not belong to your ancestors. to give her property of your ancestors.
Of your ancestors.
If you have lived with a woman for 20 years.
Yeah.
That's long enough. Right?
That's long enough. Yeah.
And you have not bought anything. Wherever you're living, the piece of land you have is
your grandfather
who gave you through inheritance.
Yes.
And then that inheritance, because you have stayed with her for 20 years, the court says now you give what you have. You're splitting a land to a lady who does not belong to those ancestors.
So it's actually going against the beliefs of the culture. That particular culture.
Yes. You see, you know what happened to the ancestors when they died? They knew this property will definitely go to our bloodline.
Yes.
And your wife is your wife is only your bloodline.
And even there's land that you cannot even sell.
True. Because the owners did not sell. The owners lived until 80 years and they died. And you, 20 years already, you have a problem, you have to sell it. 20 years. They live until 80 years with their problem. It's weird.
Because there's something actually you've mentioned that your wife is not your relative.
Yes, it's not your relative.
Only your
kids. The kids are the relatives. And because
cool, but it's true.
And because he has a bloodline with the kids, and the kids will inherit the property, dignity will live with the kids.
Yes.
But the wife, definitely is not a bloodline. I can give you an example. When you're 5 brothers, during the time when you're 5 brothers without wives, there was a lot of agreement. But when you bring other tribes, because you'll have 5 wives. Now the 5 wives...
And there might be different trends.
Yeah, of course, and a different ethnicity.
Yeah.
When they come...
In different ages.
Yes. When they come in, they'll split you guys.
The bond that you...
They'll split you guys because you will buy rice and meat. Your brother does not contribute, maybe he's poor or does not have money that time. Tomorrow you buy meat because you used to do that.
Yes.
Originally we used to do that. So to you it's normal. But your wife will think that you're using a lot of money.
You're buying this.
You're feeding them. And then you start listening to her. Next few days, you now start to cook alone. And then you split the house. You split the house, and now let's have a barrier here, a perimeter wall. So that me I'll be doing my things, and your brothers are, and then there is also split. Who has brought that issue? Somebody who does not belong there.
Okay. That's quite interesting. And and also I'll learn to that, like the Asians. We'll call them Asians. Like they were Hindi.
Yeah, they're Asians.
They're Asians, huh?
Yeah.
Wahindi, do you know they accumulate wealth by living together?
Yes.
What they do is let's say let's use the same example as 5 brothers, huh?
Yes.
So the parents have 5 children, right? They've gone, they've educated them, and then as they are being educated, the parents build a big house. That has like 8 bedrooms.
Yes.
And 5 baths and all that. Yeah. So these guys, they are told, their father says you have to live within here.
Yeah.
So one of the guys, they started getting wives and all that.
Yes.
So the father says, Those wives bring them here. We live together. So they live together in that same household. So you know what that does? First of all, expenses go down. Because imagine 5 brothers who don't pay rent.
Sure.
So that means you have more money in your pocket, all of you. Number 2, look at feeding. The food is, you see, there are 5 wives, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they plan 2 wives every day, cook for the family.
Yeah.
That means even food is cheaper. And even better, and what will I say? And even more culturally better, because they'll cook the traditional foods that they found being cooked there.
And less erosion of their culture.
And less
They maintain that, yes.
Exactly. Then let's go to the children. The children live together. There's no autism there, because let's say everyone has a kid. Then they're still living there. You see, and of course, some of them will live to other countries and the like. But you see, the togetherness, at the end of the day, wherever you go, when you come back, you'll always have that home.
Yeah. Then add to that, I can say the Indians, yes, not only the Indians, even the Arabs,
yes, even the
Somalis.
Yes, Somalis, yes.
They have that tradition of building one big facility. If the father has enough money, first of all, he'll build a very big facility. You'll wonder, somebody with one wife is building many rooms.
13-bedroom house.
Yes. A very big facility. Then all of them are accommodated there.
Yeah.
And then you see, the wives will be married. And another advantage is that if there's one of the brothers who is working maybe in Canada, I've seen that.
Yes.
I've seen that in Mombasa. I have been in a hotel. I used to observe every Friday a certain family eats there. Every Friday.
Together.
Together. The grandfather and the brothers and the wives who are around and kids and grandchildren, they go there every Friday. You know, for an African, it's very expensive.
It's very expensive, yeah.
Yes, and it's a very big hotel. So I came to observe, why is this family every Friday? So I asked the owner. He's a friend of mine. I asked him, why is this family? I said, my friend, you can't, this is like the pay. This bill is paid from Canada by one of the fella who is working there. Where are you working? And you know what happens? He is emailed and then he transfers money.
So he has money.
He emails the bill. And then he transfers money to the account of that hotel every Friday. So they eat whatever they eat and they carry yogurt.
So it's already paid for.
Yes. So what happens? They go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday is free for Wing, who is in Canada. We have families who are outside the country. We have never had. And I let alone buying a drink.
It's quite difficult, actually. European culture has really affected us, because nowadays, when like your brother and your sister, once they leave that house, you might even not even hear from them ever again.
It's capitalism. A lot of European culture is more of capitalism.
Yes.
So the capitalist is individualist.
Yeah.
So if you have property, then it's yours and for your kids.
Yeah.
So don't share.
Not share with the brother.
You know, when you share, it's communist. It's communal.
Oh,
It's communal.
Yeah.
So they removed community completely. It's capitalism.
Capitalism is one.
Which is selfish and very, very selfish and greedy. If you have enough food, you accumulate a lot of wealth, and your brother doesn't have
anything.
Yes. That's capitalism, which was brought to Kenya, which is very much paining us. Capitalism.
Okay, so what do you think would help us to bring back our culture, or to fortify our culture and bring it back to where it was?
I think we first of all remove the disconnect of identifying ourselves with towns. Because I've been asking people, where do you come from? I come from Nairobi. Yes, I'm born in Nairobi.
Where is Nairobi?
Is there any farmlands in Nairobi? No. Where does your father come from? My father comes from Nairobi. Where your father comes from is where you come from. You know, birth certificates are given at the hospital, the place where you're born.
Yes.
Through the hospital.
Yeah.
So when I'm just going to Kisumu, and happens that my wife is pregnant, and reaching to Eldoret, it's too much. I book a place at her clinic.
Yeah.
She gives birth. You know that kid is identified from Eldoret.
Yeah.
But was is it Eldoret really what we are passing? Then the guy, because of a small paper called birth certificate, he completely
from
Nairobi. And because they think when you identify from Nairobi, you look more educated than when I identify myself from Rwanda.
You're more European.
You're more, which is nothing, my friend.
Nothing.
To me, now when we remove that identifying ourselves from towns and start identifying yourself from the where your grandfather comes from,
the cultural land.
Our kids will learn that we belong from somewhere. And then another thing which, not only identifying ourselves, but the next step also, we start visiting our mashinani. We start visiting them. Our kids will start now trying to learn that people keep this kind of dogs. They keep this kind of cow breeds. And they start identifying themselves with that culture. Some families, not families, some tribes in the rural area, they still practice culture. But if you continually live in town and not going there, you are completely out of the tradition and culture. Yes. So you see, as I've said, first, identity. Second is visiting.
Or visiting the actual
where you come from.
You saw some people have not gone to their house.
There are some people who are more than 40 years. They have never seen even their grandfather's grave. Completely. Yes. Some of them even their father's grave. They never went. They don't even go. Yes. The houses were built there. Their ghost house. Nobody lives. The guys pay rent now Nairobi every year. India.
Okay, that's quite interesting.
And this thing of which I don't like, this thing of you don't go home until somebody dies, and then you collect your friends in Nairobi and you hire a car. I know how much is a car per day. Per day is 3,000. And you are 10 people. What is 3,000? And then you buy your zingas, and then you come where it's like a trip. It's like a trip.
Imagine it's a road trip.
You're going for burial, but you're going like a trip. My relative was passed on in Muranga. My friend, we hire a car, 3,000. What is 3,000? They come. There are so many vehicles. Last time I was in Kangema, I was doing my work rounds. Then I saw many vehicles. I was with a colleague of mine. Asked, is the dead that famous? I know it's not that famous. The guy is very poor. He has died very poor. His family will be poor. But the problem is this guy kids of ours in Nairobi, they have hired cars. 3,000 per car. They were like 10 cars or 20 cars. So 20 cars, that's only 60,000 for more than 100 people.
And also they're still spending because they have alcohol. They have
alcohol.
Yes. Party. They're going for a party.
They come with their girlfriends. Yes. That one is not. I don't want that to be like you're going for culture. That one, if you want to go and know your culture, go
in good
time. Not with the burial with your friends and Mizinga and Highness Cognat. That's nothing. That's nothing.
So you should go when the times are good.
Times are good. Actually, come when it's dry. And you see how you can survive collecting water when
going to the river.
Don't come when the things are good and then you come.
So basically, for me, I'd say the change will always begin with me.
Sure.
In my household. Because if culture comes from my parents, these are things that I was taught maybe not to steal. That's a culture. I was taught not to steal. So I've grown up knowing stealing is bad. Everything becomes better and better when you do the cultural thing for the good. And also our parents and our grandparents, make sure to go and listen to them, listen to their stories, the advice. Basically be with them, be part of the life of them.
And also in addition, that when we are naming our kids, let them retain their traditional names and their tribal names. You find people identifying themselves with European names.
Yes. Two or three European names.
People actually, there are some names I normally tell people. This name is never in the Bible, even if you are Christian. Is there any name in the Bible called Mark Anthony?
No.
Harlingstone?
No.
Livingstone. Which disciples that?
None of them.
So these actual tribal European names. And now you've picked their names, introducing them to your tribe, which you as you have names already.
Yes.
There's no tribe without names.
Yes.
But you don't want to identify yourself with your
You're absolutely or you're naming nomenclature.
Sure. Me, I wonder, somebody who is 40 or 50 years, who has kids, when he's asked his name, I'm Tom. How can you call yourself Tom at 50 years? You know, Tom is when you're nursery school.
Yeah.
When a baby.
Yes.
Yes, I'm Tom. Mark. Why don't you say yourself I'm Kibaki? Which is a tribal traditional name.
Yes.
I'm Kibaki. You don't identify yourself with the I'm Tom. At the 60 you're Tom.
It's some of the advice that you're giving. Eh?
Yourself. Personally, those people, I'm called Joseph Kalume.
Yeah.
Personally, I would like somebody who, when you call me Joe or Joseph, then we are either we are peer or we played football together or volleyball together at one given time, because I used to be a very good volleyball player. We can identify ourselves that because you used to call me that
the same name.
But if you are underage, you are 10 years, you call me Joe. I don't feel okay. I feel offended.
It's very offending.
You rather call me my son, call me Kalume or Mr. Kalume for that sake.
Yeah.
You're calling me Joe. Joe, we the same blank.
Yeah. That was a very interesting topic. Thank you, Mr. Kalume. And kama kawaida, we have to big up ourselves. Sisi ni nworksinc radio podcast. We have a radio station. The radio station is online. You can go to the browser and you just type bit.ly/nwks radio. The R is capital. So keep listening, keep enjoying. Make your comments, subscribe, like, share, YouTube, tell your friends, and enjoy. Thank you, Mr. Kalume. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sana.